Michael Shank joins us now. He's Vice President of US Operations at the Institute for Economics and Peace, a research institute that focuses on the economic benefits of peace. So is that the point then? This is a non-binding symbolic resolution and none of these conditions are likely to end up in any future agreement?
That's correct. Not only the night raid issue, the detainee issue, and the immunity issue, but so too in the Loya Jirga's strategic partnership agreement, they talked about no parallel structures. So that directly addresses our PRTs, the provincial reconstruction teams, as well as these local police that the Pentagon funds through arms and weapons, similar to what we did in the Anbar province in Iraq. So I assume all of it's a deal breaker for the U.S., and given that the U.S. kind of reasserting that it's non-binding resolution or non-binding agreement, I don't see the U.S. compromising on any of those.
It's interesting though, now that we've had the experience there of the status of forces agreement, or the attempt on for a status of forces agreement in Iraq though, can we be so sure? Because again, the Iraqi government attempted, or at least gave these gestures and these meetings and the suggestion that they'd listen. But in the end though, the Iraqi government and the US government's best laid plans for a US presence didn't work because there was so much opposition. Why not the same thing happen in Afghanistan?
Well, I see the same thing happening in Afghanistan in terms of the immunity issue. So status forces agreement, SOFA agreement in Iraq, tried to hold U.S. personnel accountable to Iraqi law. They're trying to do that in Afghanistan. We're not going to see that. In terms of the night raids, I mean, that's a big agenda for Petraeus and now General Allen, ramping it up 80%. I don't see them pulling back on that. And then detainee issues, like a big intelligence source for the Pentagon as well.
Right, but the question is then, weren't those gathered at the Loya Jirga, and weren't those not gathered at the Loya Jirga then put their foot down and intensify the conflict as a result?
Well, this is kind of a win-win for Karzai and for the Loya Jirga, because they're saying, yes, we want U.S. personnel here long term, but we want you in a training capacity. Only a few thousand, kind of like what we're doing in Iraq now and going forward, only a few thousand for military advising. So it gives the impression to the U.S. government like, hey, yes, we like you here, but there are some conditions you must meet. It also sets up the pretext for great kind of national disagreement if the 2,000 represented, who are ostensibly supposed to represent the entire country, are saying, okay, we're fine with you here in an advisory capacity, provided you do this, 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 and this. It puts the Pentagon in a very tricky position.
What about disagreement and reaction in the United States, not only in the context of the deficit, but also in the context of the discussion of what the U.S. is actually doing there and whether they're just stoking the insurgency by their presence?
Well, there's a lot of correlation actually between the 80% that I mentioned, night raids, airstrikes, drone strikes, and increased attacks. I mean, insurgent attacks have grown by the same number, 80% in the last couple of years. So there's a direct correlation there. In terms of deficit, Super Committee could end the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq right now and save this country $1.4 to $1.5 trillion, which would meet the Super Committee's goals. So it's a really interesting time for the Pentagon, right as defense cuts are happening too, and Secretary of Defense is saying no defense cuts. So it's a bit of a conundrum.
Michael Shank, thank you very much.
Thanks.